Now we're gonna glue. You're gonna need your base, your glue. You should try to leave the lid on your glue between pieces so that way it doesn't dry out. We have our Q-tips and we have our nippers in case we need to do a little bit more nipping. I am going to mix this up. There's a few different ways to glue. We have our pieces. When they have Sharpie on them, make sure to glue the Sharpie up, unless if you glue it down you don't see it. This is dark enough glass that I can glue the Sharpie down. I'm going to show you the two different ways to glue. One is doing it per piece. You put just enough on here to cover the glass, and then you place that piece. The other option is to put glue on your board. And lay your pieces down. This glass is iridized on one side, so I'm going to make sure that I glue that iridized side up because I want to be able to see that. You do not want so much glue on your piece that it squishes out. When it comes out from around your glass, that's too much glue, and I'm going to use the other end of my Q-tip to get this extra off. We want to have just enough glue that it's making the glass stick, but not so much that it is spreading around. That will affect the way the grout gets in between your pieces. You want your pieces to be touching really close together. If you have them too spread out, then the grout has a hard time staying in between the lines. The suggested amount is about 1/8 of an inch. I like to put mine as close together as I can so my glass is touching, and then that leaves the grout just to fill in the small spaces. And remember, when you have very textured pieces, the texture should be facing up. The base that I'm working on does have the hole in here, so I'm going to glue my pieces around and leave that hole there so I can add a string later. So I'm not going to cover that hole. If you have one of these and you don't want to utilize that hole, you can go ahead and glue a piece right on over that. You do want to make sure to leave a lip around. This lip will be where the grout sits, and you're going to grout right along. After you've let your piece dry a little while, you need to check and make sure none of the pieces fall off. You're going to take your piece and do what's called the heart attack test. You dump it upside down, shake it a little bit, and make sure none of those pieces fall off. If any of them do fall off, re-glue them and allow it to dry a little bit longer. Any extra glass that you have, you can keep that, just store it in a baggie. Same with the glue, as long as you have that shut tight, then you should be able to reuse that also.